known as the input terms, international commercial terms. It may be the X work price or FOB price, CNF, CIF, etc. What is the meaning of this price? That we will understand after this. Okay, but what I mean to say here, we have to understand what is the delivery term, the delivery time for execution of the order, and what is the price term. Next is the labeling, packaging, and marking requirement. Certain countries, they will mention the packaging and the labeling requirement, and you have to strictly follow this. As for example, you can consider the case of the Middle East countries. In that case, they have to mark, and the packaging you have to use the green color because they consider the green as a very holy color to them. Next is the inspection requirement. There are certain countries I have mentioned in the college, in the regular classroom lecture also. There are certain countries like West German, or you can say the Italy. They are very conscious regarding the regarding their health, or regarding the you can say the whether this product that you are exporting to their countries are completely safe and fit for human consumption. So this is applicable in the case of the garment industry also. So before accepting the order, we have to examine this type of following details. Now, then you have to also review the contract in terms of capability of execution. Now, in case of no confusion, you can accept the order, but and you can confirm the order. But in case you have any confusion, you always seek the clarification from the importer, because at the time of execution of the export order, there should not be any confusion in the mind of the exporter. Otherwise, in case exporter fails to execute the order, their price may be their payment may be forfeited. Next is a step number 3, export production and the quality control. Now, in the step 1, we have understood how to become an exporter. In the step 2, we have understood that what are the things needs to be checked by an exporter before acceptance of the order. In the step 3, you will understand what are the do's and don'ts regarding the export production and the quality control. See, in case of the manufacturer exporter, the details of the order should be communicated without any ambiguity to the production department. See, order is taken by the marketing department, but this order needs to be communicated to the production department. So at the time of communication of the order, there should not be any sort of communication gap. That's why nowadays you might have observed that in the marketing department also technical people are preferred. Next, in case of the foreign buyers, lay down their own standard and also insist upon the inspection by their nominated agencies. Now, in some cases, what the foreign buyers will do, they will appoint their own agent, and they will insist the exporters that at the time of manufacturing, their nominated agency will inspect their goods. Okay, so you have to take care of this thing, and in case it is written in the contract that you have to get the product certified by their own nominated agency, you have to give the access to their agencies nominated by the importers for the inspection of their product. Now, I'd like to clear one thing here: the manufacturer exporter. There are two kinds of exporter usually you can consider. That is, the one is the manufacturers and exporter. That means the organization who is manufacturing, they themselves are exporting. And some cases there is a merchandise exporter. What is the meaning of this? In this case, they never manufacture their products. They obtain the goods from the others, but they export in their own country, export their under their own name. Okay, so but in the case of the manufacturer exporter I am talking about, this type of things should be taken care of. Now, next is the step 4. In the step 3, we have understood that what are the precautions to be taken at the time of export production and the quality control. Now, in the step 4, we will consider that our manufacturing is over. Now, we have to take the goods outside our factory for the export. Now, in order to take the goods outside from the factory, what we have to do? I have to take the clearance from the central excise. Okay. Now, as soon as the goods are ready for the dispatch, the exporting firm apply to the Central Excise Authority for the excise clearance of the goods. Because without excise clearance, you cannot take the goods outside the plant. For taking the goods outside the plant, you have to have obtained the excise clearance. Now, this excise clearance can be obtained by two ways. The first, you can pay the duty and claimed after export, and secondly, goods are allowed to export without payment of the duty. That means what I mean to say is that this is the one advantage of the export. You know that in other cases you may have to pay the central excise duty, but in the case of export, either you can claim the what is the duty you have paid, or you are allowed to export without any payment of the duties. Now, whether you have to pay the duty and claim, or you are allowed to export without duty, that depends on the type of. Now, into both the cases, you have to obtain either AR4 or AR4A. Okay. Now, what are the requirements of this document AR4 and AR4A? How these documents are generated and how these documents are disposed of? This will be discussed in for a separate lecture in the export documentation. Now, next, the stage 5 is the pre-shipment inspection. Now, before shipping the goods, what you have to do? You have to carry out the pre-shipment inspection. For this purpose, what you have to do? The exporters they approaches the inspection agency for obtaining the inspection certificate. The following documents are needed: commercial invoice. They have to pay the inspection fees and the copy of the export order along with the specification demanded by the importers, and of course the packing list. Okay, that means in order to get the inspection certificate, the exporter has to provide the commercial invoice, the complete copy of the exporter orders along with the specification demanded by the importers, and the complete packing list. Now, this pre-shipment inspection report, this will be prepared in the triplicate. That means 3 copies will be prepared. The original for the customs verification. Remember, without this original pre-shipment inspection, you are not allowed to export the goods. The duplicate copy, you have to send it to the importers, and the triplicate copy may be written by the exporters for their own reference. So this is the stage 5. So we have so far what we have studied. We have learned that how to become an exporter. Second, what are the factors, what are the we can say what are the things that needs to be checked before accepting the exporter order. Then what are the do's and don'ts regarding the manufacturing and the quality control. Next, how to get the customs clearance, and the stage 5 is the pre-shipment inspection. Now, this is the appointment of clearing and forwarding agent. Now, right at the very beginning, I have told you that export is a very cumbersome process. Okay, and it needs lot of contracts, lot of documents you have to dispose of. Okay, you have to prepare lot of documents, and all this needs very special skill, or you can say it is a very specialized job. So getting the customs clearance is a really specialized job, and it is really a cumbersome job. That's why for each and every exporter, they need what they do, they appoint clearing and forwarding agent. Okay, now let us see what the clearing and forwarding agent will do. Each and every exporter, they have their own clearing and forwarding agent. Okay, now these are the job to be performed by the clearing and forwarding agent. The physical movements of the cargo from the exported warehouse to the port of shipment. What does it mean? It means that the clearing and forwarding agent, they are responsible for taking the goods outside from your factory, and they will carry the transport of the goods to the port of shipment. Suppose your factory is at Delhi and you have to ship the goods from the Mumbai port. So in that case, clearing and forwarding agent will be responsible for taking the goods from Delhi to Mumbai. Next is the customs clearance of the cargo. This is the very important, and this is a very specialized job, because customs clearance is a really cumbersome process, and a lot of documents needs to be prepared, lot of documents needs to be submitted to the customs office. So all this work is done by the clearing and forwarding agent. Now the procurement of the transport and other documents. So this is a very important job. Until and unless you get the transport and other documents, you cannot get the payment. What is the importance of this? This I will explain at the time of export documentation. And reserving the space for the shipping cargo. This is just like that. You have to do the reservation before your journey. Similarly, you have the clearing and forwarding agent. They are also responsible for reserving the space in the cargo. Next is the customs clearance and the port formalities. Here I am going to brief you what exactly the customs clearance means and how exactly the customs clearance are taking place and what are the four formalities are required for getting the customs clearance. The first objective of the customs control. The objective of the customs control is that to ensure the goods going out of the country after compliance with the defined laws concerned with the export trade and to ensure the authenticity of the value of the export. Now let us see what are the objectives. Now first is the compliance with the defined laws. I have already told you that for exporting we have to observe the regular lots of rules and regulation. Okay, and the customs control, they will see that whether you have observed all the rules and regulations. If you don't observe any single rules and regulation, then you are not permitted to export the goods. And secondly, authenticity of the value of the export. That means customs department will also check whether the value declared by you is correct or not. Next, how they will carry out this, how they will ensure whether it is complied with the defined laws and authenticity of the value of the export. This is carried out by two ways. First, they can check documentary check, and secondly, they can, if they have any doubt, they can verify it physically. Now, document on which the customs give clearance for the export is the shipping bill. Remember, this is a very important document. I will discuss what is the objective of the shipping bill, how it is prepared, what are the contents of the shipping bill, who will prepare, how will be prepared in the export documentation lecture. Okay. Now, following at the time of getting the customs clearance, following are to be submitted. The first is the shipping bill you have to submit. Then you have to submit the letter of credit. LC is the short form of letter of credit. I will discuss letter of credit afterwards. Next is the inspection certificate. I have already told you that before export you need the goods to be inspected, so you need the inspection certificate. Next is the AR4 or AR4A. These two forms required, either AR4 or AR4A is required depending upon the type of the goods, and these type of goods are required for getting the clearance from the excise, and any other documents that may be required from time to time. That means these 3 or 4 documents that I have mentioned, 1, 2, 3, 4 documents are mandatory. Apart from this, depending on the type of the goods, you may have to submit other documents. So here you have to understand what exactly the customs clearance has taken place. Now, see the summary of activities involved in getting the customs clearance. This customs clearance, getting the customs clearance is the job of the clearing and